Hey everyone, I hope you're doing great today. This is Stephanie at High Tower Stitching, and I'm back with a little short part 2 for the quilt that I started last week, the one that's a quilter spot of spring starring a clever 12-inch quilt block with 4 surprise corners. This is part 2, and this was from a text. Someone wanted to know, how does the quilt look now? How did you finish the edges, and how are you going to quilt it? Here are my 12 blocks. I did 3 by 4, and at first I thought it might be kind of small, but it's not. It turned out to be about 50 by 60 when I got my edges on the outside. And I chose to go with and use some of the material that I had left. And if you'll look, you'll see I've got a brown. I brought the brown back out. And then I had enough green. I brought the green back out. And I liked the way it looked. I took a picture of it and was real pleased with it. Now, I know my quilting by hand is slow, and that's always true. And you know, I've been working on that blue one since last May. I hope I get it done. I think I've got 6 blocks done on it. And this one I'm doing on the sewing machine, and I've got 6 blocks. And you can see that there's sashing in between each of the blocks, and that wasn't hard to put on. I did each row first and put it together, and then connected the next row underneath that. And the boxes are so cute and little. So then I decided, well, how am I going to do this? And what was I going to do for the back? So for the back, I used the same cream because I had enough of it. And that lets the quilting show up if you want to see the back and have it nice. Then the flowered boxes, I just put flower in there, just a great big flower. And then I did smaller flowers in the points. The hardest one for me was to decide what to do in those squares, those nifty little squares we did. And I did about 5 different things until I finally decided on those little strokes that you can see on there. And I'll show you on the plan that I did. And these will just give you some ideas that even hand stitching, that can give you some ideas that you can use. Now, I don't know. I just really like playing with the sewing machine and doing the parts. So I sort of overdo it. I try not to, but I start. And so each of my arrows going out, those little rays, I just put, looks like a little leaf pattern going up and then going down. I repeated the middle in the triangle, and then in the square that we had, and there was the brown piece, I just made like an arrow that just points you into the middle. But like I said, it took me a while to come up with that. And when I started sewing on the machine, and you may have seen it, I started going through on the internet and looking at the way people were quilting their quilts. And I actually put some little books together so that when I start, it's not quite as blank, because I can look at those and then get some ideas. Let me see if I can turn it up and you can see the back. Well, let's do it this way. There you go. Now you can look and you can see the back, because I like the backs, and I always think that that should be a quilt of its own, especially when you've got a solid back and you can see the blocks and things. But I'm having a good time, and I'm going to get back to it in a little bit and keep going. It's a great block to put together. The flying geese, they go together beautifully. They fit with that square in the middle, and it's so easy to make those pretty little corners on there. So I'm selling that idea to you to get going. This is Stephanie at High Tower Stitching. If you like this video or had fun or made you think of something you want to do, hit subscribe and like, and then leave any comments that you want to. Thank you.